July means many new laws go into effect here in Florida, and 2 new measures are specifically designed to better protect animals. In today's Injuries Are Personal with Reynolds Law, attorney Carl Reynolds is here to explain Dexter's Law and Trooper's Law, both named after the animals that inspired these new rules. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Stephanie.
I like a topic we can all agree on, and I think we all agree that anybody that harms an animal deserves some punishment.
No place for it in our society whatsoever.
Nope, that is completely unacceptable. So let's start with Trooper's Law. You'll probably recognize the name. It got a lot of news coverage during Hurricane Milton. So the backstory, of course, was that an animal was abandoned during the hurricane, but not just abandoned.
Right. Chained to a fence, and water's rising, and no way for it to escape.
Right, just worse than abandoned,
right.
Actually.
Exactly.
Positioned to perish.
I mean, borderline tortured, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But the reason the dog is named Trooper is because our wonderful state troopers actually came in and saved that animal. So that's the backstory to why we have a Trooper's Law. So what is Trooper's Law?
Well, Trooper's Law is going to stiffen penalties for those that leave an animal trapped during a emergency like a hurricane or a flood.
So it's specific.
So it's specific to that event, right? So if there's some sort of natural catastrophe and you put the animal in harm's way by confining it in a way that it cannot escape and may drown or something like that, because we had also some floods out east and other things. So when we're dealing with that natural catastrophe, you got to be under the law, make sure your animal has an escape route. Okay, just like you would want as a human being, you need to leave the animal some sort of escape route.
I wonder if that gets a little trickier in livestock and farm situations too, or if that has a little bit more of a broader understanding that.
Well, as long as they're not chained, right, to a point where they're then subject to drowning, I think then they're going to be compliant with the law.
Okay, sounds good. So Trooper has inspired, by the way, Trooper is okay and was adopted. So there's a happy ending to Trooper's
There's a happy ending to that
and
one.
now a law to make sure that people don't do things that are bad, because that's just not.
Right, part of hurricane prep, which has become a staple here on our Sun Coast, is if you have animals, have a plan to do something with them rather than stop by the highway roadside and chain them to a fence.
Yes, obviously not okay. And we appreciate our state troopers, but don't want them having to take time to do things like that. But I know they were happy to save Trooper. All right, so the other law is called Dexter's Law, named after a Pinellas County dog named Dexter, and this one's a little darker.
Very dark, very devastating. It was a dog that was adopted, and only a few days later was found beheaded on the beach. And so this law, giving homage to Dexter, is to stiffen penalties for those folks who inflict animal cruelty and harm on animals, especially something as gruesome as that.
So basically, it increased the penalties for the worst crimes, if I read it correctly?
For sure, for the worst crimes, and it could be a felony. You know, you can be in prison for 5 years, you can be fined $10,000. So it's significant. It's you know, these animals are helpless. They need our help to make sure they're protected, and so it stiffens those penalties so that folks that do these sort of baseless, gruesome things will suffer stiff penalties. So hopefully it'll be a deterrent to keep anyone from doing anything like that.
From the state's point of view, I mean, when we see the reason for stiffer penalties, is it to deter? Is it also to sort of put out there that, you know, we value animals in our, you know, community and in our world, and we want them protected too?
For sure. I think it's both, right? It's going to act as a deterrent, hopefully, where someone that, for whatever's not connecting correctly upstairs, they'll at least think, well, from self-preservation, I could go to prison for 5 years, or I could be out $10,000 if I do this, or both. And also, it certainly puts higher value on our animal family members, right?
Yeah, which is a nice thing to see the state do.
Absolutely.
So, all right, well, good to have some clarification on some new laws. For more information about any of your legal questions, you can go to injuriesarepersonal.com. We'll be right back.